High noon ABC. It is number 9 Vandy. It is number 20 Texas. Texas is a 1.5-point favorite. Arch Manning in concussion protocol.
Yes.
So if you watched the Texas game a week ago, took a shot at the end or towards the end, back of the head. Head kind of bounced off the ground, walked to the sidelines. He was a little bit woozy. A little bit woozy. So right now we're recording this Wednesday around midday. Teams in the SEC give their initial eligibility/injury reports later in the day on Wednesday. So by the time people hear this, Dan, there's a pretty good chance everyone's going to have a much better idea of whether or not Arch is going to play in this one.
Yeah, but I mean, even still, we'll see what he is on the injury report, but if he's probable, he still may not play, right? It's still a game time situation.
Still a game time decision. So
yeah.
I don't know, does that factor in at all to your pick here? Tight point spread, Vegas expecting this to be close for whatever that's worth to you. Where are we at? How you feel?
Well, weirdly, we don't have data on Texas playing a big game at home because this, I believe, is this their first SEC home game?
Man, it's been a tough schedule for Texas this year.
Yeah.
Especially on the road. Yeah.
This is their first SEC home game, or I guess power conference game. They played the game against Ohio State, and the neutral site against Oklahoma obviously takes away a home or road game. But it is kind of strange. And now we have the uncertainty around Arch Manning's health, and pretty much everything about the Texas offense is disappointing. I would say maybe beyond a couple of different players in the open field. Like Ryan Wingo with the ball with some space, as we saw last week, can be electric.
He can't be. And the other thing that I would add, and your point's valid, everybody who's watched Texas knows that the offense has been a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah. Like good Arch throws are incredible.
Good Arch, the best of Arch is good.
Yes.
And I think the offense has improved a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I think last week Arch looked better. I think the offense looked better as a whole last week. That's not to say it's fixed. They definitely still have issues, but in the interest of fairness, I do think there was a little bit of growth that we saw last week. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. No, I guess maybe it's appropriate for the state of Texas. Like 95% of flour tortillas are terrible, but the upper 5% will blow your mind. They're the best in the world.
Sure.
So I think I'm in on Vandy here. And I'm in on Vandy because, of your general Ashanti rulings that, there's something about trust. And Vandy hasn't proven a ton on the road. Obviously, they were competitive against Bama, who opened up things late on the road. But there is something about a team that is able to possess the ball like they've been able to do, because I don't think anybody's going to be able to do anything electric against this Texas defense, which has been excellent despite the position they've been put in this season by their own offense. The Texas defense on third down against Vandy on third down, to me, feels like this entire game. Because Vandy's been outstanding with the ball in keeping drives going and keeping the opposing defense on the field. And Texas has, the best of what Texas does is when they feel confident rushing the passer, and they're beat up a little bit on defense, but even still, that's this game. If you're talking strength versus strength, it's 3rd and 4 when Vandy has the ball. What happens? And there's a lot to still dislike about Texas, even if they're great on 3rd and 4. Questions about red zone stuff, questions about all sorts of situational things with Texas, how they use whoever's playing quarterback, what Matthew Caldwell looks like, running this system, if he is indeed the guy. I just think there's something dependable about Vanderbilt being able to win this game in a couple different ways. They were competitive last year against Quinn Ewers, but couldn't pull it out at home. That was a different Texas offense. So I'm going Vandy here to win this game in a boring way outright. Something, 17-16, 20-15. I don't think either one of these teams is scoring more than 23, 24 points. I just like the opportunity here for Vandy. Even with the, 2 consecutive big attention games in LSU and Mizzou with game day last week, there is something about the age and the composure of Vanderbilt that I like in this spot, where week to week we're talking about a Texas team that when they win, it's generally not a complete performance. When they lose, you're left wanting so much. So I'm going with the dependability factor in Vandy.
If it is Matthew Caldwell in this game,
yeah.
By the way, this is where my crazy theory from Tuesday comes into play.
This is Bill Simmons' Ewing theory?
No, it's not Ewing theory.
Okay.
It's not Ewing theory. The theory is that Matthew Caldwell might actually be better than Arch.
Okay.
I want people to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen Matthew Caldwell throw 11 passes this year.
Right.
A little bit of a limited sample size, but I don't know. He's looked very, very good, obviously, through the game-winning touchdown a week ago and very limited action. If it is him, I just want people to keep an open mind. I'm not affirming anything at this point.
Right.
I'm just saying, keep an open mind. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a full-on rock fight. I don't think we see a lot of offense. I think it's two good defenses having at it. The RPS, the real point spread here, is Texas -7 per my model. And that's mostly on the strength of their defense. I think they're good enough to take away the legs of Diego Pavia. And if
I agree. Totally agree.
If they force him to be more of a thrower in order to win, I think that changes the calculus a little bit on the Vandy side, at least on offense. He can throw it, to be clear. I think he's completed something like 70% of his passes or close to 70% of his passes this year. So
yeah,
we have seen real growth from Diego Pavia as a passer this year. That part is undeniable. But I still think that their passing game works better as a complement to the run. And if you make them one-dimensional, it's not nearly as efficient a system. So I've got this one at 20-13 Texas.
Okay.
I'm going with the Horns. The model is going with the Horns. I'm taking my subjectivity out of this thing, and we're sticking with the RPS, Dan.
The RPS.
Yeah.
Okay. So we disagree.
We disagree.